Hello, brothers and sisters of Light and Dark. Welcome to my page by Common Sense. I tried to keep it down under the nitty-gritty, under 10 minutes. And if it goes over 10 minutes, that means it's something very, very important and not important to liberals, libertards, people believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT. Listeners' discretion is advised. I've seen this guy many places on the Facebook, and I always wonder, just like Brother Polite and these type of guys here, were they women actually virgins when they first met them? Most of the time, most likely not. So they're simps. They're beta alpha simps. And of course, I see the word beta alpha there. There's a beta alpha there. They're in their emotions. They have no control, okay? They're still in their emotions, okay? All right, you know? So we're going to keep it real simple. We're going to watch this video, all right? And see the proof if he's a simp or not, okay? But other than that, let's begin with the video tape. If you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast fest, you put it down below. If you have any comments, questions, insults, or even roast fest, you put it down below. Let's begin.
But this is something that someone just asked, and I think that we need to just...
This guy right here, his name is Kevin Wesley, okay? Naturally, he put his name out there. That's good. That's whatever he wants to do because he's a good-looking guy, and people will be like, oh, nobody can bother him. But there are some hater-type females out there who try to break down his character, but who cares? Let's get on with the videotape, okay?
Get the elephant out the room.
Get the elephant out.
Lacey, are you intimately engaged with Jamie? Is that an agreement as well? Like, is it everybody kind of comes together?
Everyone in this relationship is completely heterosexual.
Oh.
They're both in relationships with me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Got it. Okay.
If it's heterosexual, remember that man would not be sharing his poutine with no other man. All right? Because just because you ain't fucking another man doesn't always make you, just a heterosexual. Okay? And I keep saying this to guys. If you sharing some coochie with some other man, think about that. Okay, that's a little bit of homo. You know what I'm saying? No homo, no glomo. You know, don't do that. No glomo. What did they used to say? I forgot what they used to say. But if you ain't simping, you don't do that. Okay, you never settle for used vaginas at all if you're an alpha. Let's continue.
Okay, so then you are. Well, what kind of energy you have? You got a 33-year-old, and then you got. How old is Jamie?
This bitch is a
38.
This bitch is something. I'm like 30. Who cares about the fucking number? As long as they're 18. Hugh Hefner fucked with many women, okay, 18 and up, okay, and he paid them to be with him. So I don't see what the problem is. Stop looking at the numbers, baby. Stop looking at the numbers. Women always look at numbers because they're older than themselves. She's a cougar herself. Let's go.
What kind of man? Whew. Somebody missed out a little bit. I mean, come on, you only. Come on now, Kev. I know you trying to man up on this because we live right now. Come on. You don't know
talking about your energies because
it's energies. His energy is just attractive. You ain't got no energy.
Women, so
and forget that. I'm almost hold on. Let's just get one real
He's
thing.
Cute.
Quick,
He's just a cute.
quick, honey. Okay. I'm almost 50, and I'm better than I ever was at 38. So don't
shut the fuck up, man.
Now let's get on to this conversation.
The fuck up.
Now the question was, Kevin.
I want to hear your side.
Mike.
Narcissist.
Where's the energy? Do you come on, you can tell. I won't tell nobody.
What do you mean where's the energy?
You got two
about intimacy.
She's talking
about intimacy. She's talking about getting it in.
That's thank you, Lacey. High five, Chris.
Hey, look, here's the thing. I am very modest, okay?
But
I will tell you that my hopes is that both of my ladies are satisfied.
He's already a beta.
Okay, because they don't have other relationships outside of you with other men, right? Yes, that's the agreement. Like if Jamie wanted to have her a boyfriend, boyfriend or a second husband, that's not the agreement. What would be the way? Because she's 38. She might wake up and be like, she fell in love with somebody. Kev, what would be the conversation if she decided to do that?
Well, here's what I explained to them, of course, and what I've always
did you explain to them
when getting into
relationships? I want to hear that.
Is that there's one thing that is consistent, and that's change. People's minds do change. You can be in love with someone today, and tomorrow they may not be so in love with you, and it's hard to accept. And so a lot of times people stay together via the commitment, not because they feel emotionally the same way. and now the relationship becomes miserable. People change, and it doesn't matter if you changed first. You can be perfect, and they still can just fall out of love. It happens, you know. So life is a competition. You're going to meet other males out there who you may feel like are good for you. I'm hoping you honor the commitment. You may meet a male that you fall for emotionally and want to be with them. I'm hoping that you talk to me first, right? So I would never stand in the way of them and say, you can't do this or that. But we did collectively come together as an agreement and say, this is what we want. I only want you, Kevin. I told them I only want them. So I won't be pursuing any other females. This is what we're working with. But if any of them were to change their mind, I'm open to hear about it, just like they heard me. It's all respect here.
Okay. So then if she wanted to do something like that, then would you, Kevin, be open to that? It changed to be which one would that be? If
at that point, we will be polyamorous at that point.
Okay. Yes, and you would be open to that if she in 3-4 years said, you know what, wow, I'm interested in, you would be open to that conversation?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right, grown man pants. Thought that was a hard one for you, but okay.
I would never ask from someone something that I wouldn't be willing to hear them out on either.
Right.
But likewise, though, when I asked them, they wanted to meet each other. They wanted to make sure it was a person that they would get along with, who had the vision.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. You're not supposed to do that. But in your way, first of all, the woman has to be a virgin. She has to be into polygyny, okay? And she got to be focused on the king, okay? There's no such thing as a woman changing her mind and being with the same man, okay? She's gone. She's out of the relationship. She's disqualified. You know, that has to be planned early on. That can't be planned later on. Now, this type of dude is a sucker because the woman don't... When you're in a polygynous relationship, your whole goal is to create family, correct? And so these women are supposed to be procreating with that one man, right? But if a woman is fucking with another man and another man, that means there's other dicks inside of your pussy. Okay? Which basically is that child is not going to be yours because you're no longer the king. You're sharing your punani with another man. Okay? Well, she has to be pushed to the side. She's done. Because she wants to do things in her sexualized way. Because it's not really, when a man is into polygyny, he's not really doing it for sexual purposes. He's doing it for assets, family as business type purposes. And when a woman is doing polyandry, one woman, multiple husbands, she's only making one baby at a time. Now you can talk about adoption all you want. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a man who wants his own seeds within 3 to 4 women. Okay, so that makes money over time. Okay, that makes a more confound family. Okay, but if you're doing it with, if there's 5 men with 1 woman, okay, think about it. Okay, now she may think that's okay, that's great, that feels good, but she's only gonna have 1 seed up inside her, and that's it. That's done. She's not gonna make any more money unless that's her decision to do that. But I don't hate on the shit though. I'm just saying that's not how I work. Okay, as an alpha. But to me, if a guy accepts that she is not a virgin, she is a simp, and also he's doing his motions. He's still, you could tell, right? This guy is still in his emotions. He's a pretty boy. He's a fuck boy, okay? Really, he's probably not a really strong intellectualism type of guy. Because me, I like to talk the shit out of women's heads till it blows up in their fucking face. I've never been to say that I had a boring conversation in my life with women. Because they pay me for my services. Check out my credentials down below. Let's continue on. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, babies. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. I don't abuse women. I tell them these are the steps you can take. The good way, the bad way, or the professional way. And if they make the bad decision, that's on them. If they take the good decision, they can have their own exit out. And that'll be fine with me. Okay, let's continue.
That they had who was bringing something to the table. All these things are important. So equally, I would like to have the same privileges. I'd like to meet the person, make sure they got the right mind, because my children may be around them, anything like that. So I want to make sure, just like I wouldn't just bring any old person into the relationship and be like, hey, this your girlfriend. This my girlfriend now. You live with her.
Nah, dog. They're your wives. They're not your girlfriends. Okay, you got to understand that. Okay, you're not going to be digging in another man's pussy to make any babies. That's not a profit. That's not a proper profit. That's not your baby, dog. Okay, if you want to do that type of shit, good luck. Okay, all right, let's continue.
Oh, no. I wouldn't suspect she would. I mean, I don't know, Jamie, but I wouldn't suspect being in your life for that length of time, having 3 kids.
Yeah, but even Brother Polite's, one of his wives went astray and shit, so I hope he cut her. But since I understood so far that none of his wives was really virgins, then he's another beta alpha cuck. Okay, to me, okay, I'm just saying from where I raised up and how I was taught what a simp was, it's a man who's dealing with any used female who has already been poached already. She's been desecrated. She's already been contaminated. That is no longer a good woman for any man. That's what I was told, okay? All right, let's continue.
That's something that she would resort to. I was just wanting to know if you would be open to that, if she did. And I mean, she's 38. Okay. Things are changing. She might 3 years from now say, hey, Kev, I met someone at the gym and
see you.
I want you to meet him. And you know.
He's gonna say,
so
yeah.
Let me ask you this. This is a silly question, but I do have to ask it. So is there is the intimacy? I know I'm going back to that part. Is it?
I was gonna say I got you.
Thank you, Lacey.
I'm gonna help you.
Wow, look at this. 94% of people believe company culture is important to an organization.
This is a big misconception when it comes to poly relationships. So a lot of people say, okay, so Kev has 2 wives. Mm-hmm. If he isn't treating them equal, then he clearly loves this one more than that one. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with equality. Equality is under the assumption that both women possess the same characteristics and want the same things. That is not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with 2 women who have their own characteristics and their own wants and needs, even when it comes to sexually. So if, for example, I like to go for a walk every day in the morning and Kev accompanies me in the morning, but Jamie and him don't walk, but me and him work out together, that doesn't mean he loves me more than he loves her.
That's correct. You can't love everybody equally because everybody's different. Nothing is equal, and everything does come with conditions. Like I told my wife, I said your sister treats me nicer because she scrubs my back, so she get a little bit more of certain things. I always tell my women, the more you give to me, the more I give to you. That's not a problem at all, okay? The less you give to me, the more I just start not giving you what you need. And it's not a hard thing, okay? That's not being childish. It's just being talked about early on. And the problem with a lot of guys, they don't tell women what they expect. It's like you go to a job, right? Okay, I know you may say it's not a job. Yes, everything is like a job. Having children, watching children is a job, okay? That's a type of motherfucking job. And if you don't put them things together and you don't have your P's and Q's correctly, it can all fall the fucking apart. Especially if you don't try to understand the psychology of it. Everybody's different. So if she's giving me a little bit of this, I'm going to give her a little bit of that. If I get tired of her and I change my mind, we all can change our mind. Gotta let you go. You see, like a job. Like the white man. You go to the job and shit, and next thing you do work for him, you don't have nothing to say, right? Because he told you simple things he asked for. Men are very low maintenance. Let's continue.
Cooks with her, but I'd rather stay out the kitchen. But every meal they cook together, that doesn't mean he loves her more than he loves me.
I'll have all my women naked when they're cooking for me. I demand that. I demand that. I say, hey, I like you to cook for me when you're half naked at least. Okay, I don't be forcing them to do anything they don't want to do. I ask them, I say, this is what I expect you to do. Okay, and if you don't want to do it, then I just have to look for somewhere else. It's not really hard to do that. A lot of people have demands, but most idiots in the world don't tell you what their needs or demands are. And that can lead to a problem later on. Let's continue. Okay.
So when it comes to intimacy, it doesn't matter who has a higher sex drive between me and Jamie, as long as he's able to deliver to the capacity that each of us want, whether it be, let's say one of us has a high sex drive and one of them just likes to cuddle, or, they just like every once in a while. As long as he's able to meet the needs of both women, we're good. That doesn't mean that we're equal and I have sex with her 5 times a week and I also have sex with her 5 times a week.
And here's another thing. When it comes to sex never is going to last forever. That's going to fade over time. This is why it's important to tell your women that sex is never going to be ultimate number one. It's never going to keep going on forever and never and ever. Nothing lasts forever. Now, it may be a time for a while, it may seem like it keeps going on and on and on, but after a while, it's going to stop, okay, all right? And on top of that, women are 10 times more likely to be jealous, okay, in polygynous relationships anyway, so they're going to fuck up one day, and you got to expect them to fuck up so you can have another third or fourth. You change up your game and shit. Just make sure you file all the paperwork. Just make sure you go to the courts first so you won't have to worry about she run into the courts and all this other bullshit because she get tired because she didn't want to follow instructions at her manager's position. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Likely when you enter into this situation, both of your women are not going to want to have sex 5 times a week. One's going to say about, maybe once every other day.
You gotta be upfront.
So, and the other one, you might get one that
all your women in the bed at the same time when it's time to have sex, and you got that energy. You gotta come up with that up front. You gotta say that shit type up front. And if you're not turned on by that, tough. Okay, I told you to put these things up front on the table. Tell them what they're gonna get when they do these things. There's some incentive. Give everyone incentive. Like a lot of people who take these COVID shots, they don't look at an incentive for getting it. They just automatically had the illusion that it's gonna protect them. It's a placebo effect, but they don't really know nothing about that type of shit. So what happens is that they don't have no incentive if something bad, adverse happens to their body, because they're not going to get a check, because they're an idiot. They don't even read the spine print that you're not entitled to anything if something bad happens. They don't read that shit. They don't care. They just don't want to lose their job. They're afraid. Okay, and also they say they're Christian, but they're really not Christian, because in the Bible it clearly tells you not to put anything in your body. But who's going to read the Bible? Right? Who's going to read the Quran? Okay, but let's continue.
Multiple times in one day. But you're not dealing with 2 identical women, and a lot of people like to come from that perspective, and that just doesn't happen. You got to deal with all the imperfections. So it's very unlikely you're going to have 2 women that want the same exact thing. That's what I'm trying to do. That's my goal. And then on top of that, at the same exact time. So we're never in a situation where Jamie and I are both saying, I want to cuddle with you right now. He's looking like, which one do I cuddle with?
Right.
It's never like that. It's, I want to cuddle right now. She's reading a book. She wants to cuddle right now. I want to go for a run. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So in that moment, we're not taking away from each other.
My sexual energy is at least about once a week. I don't encourage that sexual energy all the time. Maybe like if there's 3 women, it's gonna be 3 times a week. Okay, so there's not gonna be like a big hassle. My problem was with my wife, she liked to do it too much, okay? And I'm like, you making me sore, baby, because I don't want to keep doing it all the time. And plus, when you have virgins, they're not as good in bed as compared to the females who are experienced. They don't know how to suck dicks as much. So that's a side effect when the female doesn't. She's new, okay? But it's okay, because the whole goal is basically to be happy with their imperfections. I'd rather have a deal with a virgin than to deal with a female who's already been in the streets, okay? Because I don't do that. There's too many side problems that may come along with that later on down the line, especially if she was born in a Western country. Let's continue.
Because I don't want to be up under you. It's hot. Go cuddle with Jamie.
There's no such thing as that. There would never be a time. There would never be a time when she tells me go cuddle with her. That would never happen in my house. Any one of my women will never tell me some shit like that, because I'll get rid of that bitch quick. Because I don't be playing that shit. Like, oh, go cuddle with her. What the fuck is this? No, you gonna come right now. Let's go. It's time, okay? You got 3 times a week. Once. 1 woman. 2nd woman. 3 women. You gotta make shit clear up front early. You can't do that shit later on. And she gonna talk to you anyway. No, it doesn't work that way.
Once at the same time, so it's not as complicated as people make it.
Yeah, it's not complicated, especially it depends
when it comes to just intimacy alone. I would just say, just like if you've had multiple partners, or anyone on here who's had multiple partners, they know that the sexual encounter between you and the other person is going to be different based on who that person is and what they bring out of you. So to answer that question on intimacy, I would just say that I accommodate them both adequately.
I guess you do. Okay. Moving right.
All right, so you heard that. So he's technically a beta alpha simp, okay? And I guess like I said before, if you want to not put things up front of what your demands are, and you don't want to put restrictions on your relationship, that's up to you. But as you should know how I roll, okay? I put everything on the table, so we won't have no problems later down the line. You got to think about all these things that may occur. And that's all I really got to say about this video. I'll put down the link in the description box. Okay, let me see. Okay, you can watch it yourself, but I really don't, I don't condone it. Okay, I don't condone a woman just saying, okay, I want to change, I want to get to another man. I'll just get rid of her. I say, okay, good luck. Because any children that's born, that's my money that I'm making. And even if you're going with somebody else, I already filed the paperwork. You got to file the paperwork, man. You file for child support and all that stuff before it happens, because what's going to happen is that if she's born in the Western country, she's going to be filing shit behind your back. Women are more conniving. You got to watch that shit. That's what my wife tried to do. She tried to talk to the white man and shit to try to get some help. And I was like, I ain't got to worry about shit because the Holy Spirit got me. And then next thing you know, look what all I have. I get alimony, child support. And she thought that the system would help her. But, the system helps her a little. She's a public charge. It's not my problem. I told him that she's trying to be a public charge. But I guess I win in the overall, and I had the last laugh. Other than that, I'm out of here, guys. And I hope you can understand me as quick as I talk. Understand what it means to be a real alpha. You do not settle for less. It doesn't mean that you're strict. It means that you're disciplined. And you got shit laid out so you can know what the plan is. As a matter of fact, I saw a video where this guy had multiple women and they got like a mansion now. And I may do that video because I saw that video and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that later. Okay, I saw the video and I was like, yeah, see, this is what you need. You need your finances to grow. You don't need women being unstable, flirting around, traveling, you mess up the monies like that. You don't want to do that. That's a really good way of building yourself and the family up. Everything is focused on the assets, and then all that other stuff is secondary. Alright? I'm out of here, guys. Peace. I hope you learned something in this video. Peace.